This is the Louie Tee Network.
Man, I love some football. Man, I love some football. My favorite week is week 1, cause I'm watching football. First comes the preseason, and I don't take a day off. And then it gets even better when your team makes the playoffs. 32 teams go hard for one thing. They work for one thing. That Super Bowl ring. 32 teams go hard for one thing. They work for one thing. That Super Bowl ring. We in the lab room.
Louie Tee, welcome. You are in the lab room. Of course, I am your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. Week number 16 in the National Football League. Friday edition of the In the Lab Room program, which means we've got some Thursday night football to discuss. Tennessee Titans, Jacksonville Jaguars, AFC South, family business. Both teams coming into the game at 2-12. And so this was a game that garnered little to no interest by the national media. I told you and I talked about how this game was disrespected, not a lot of promos, not a lot of build-up for this football game, and rightfully so. But again, we were still going to be there and watch. I know I was. I can't speak for anybody else. There were some other options on television, a little bit of NBA, a little bit of college b-ball, but I was front and center in front of the television watching Jags Titans on Thursday night, and I was in front of my computer on Twitter as well. And I apologize, I really do, because my production for the Thursday edition of In the Lab Room was finished at 2:30. It took me 11 hours to get it from my computer up to YouTube. Look, I don't know what was going on with the upload time yesterday. Really, all week long, YouTube has been jerking me around on my upload times, but nonetheless, it's up there. But you didn't get the message soon enough that I would be on Twitter during this game, and so I didn't have that back and forth banter and chatter with you like I wanted to during the game. But maybe that's something we'll come back to later on down the line. Maybe postseason, maybe wild card weekend, maybe divisional round. I'm able to get up there and watch the games, talk to you guys as we're watching the game together and have a little chatter. Then maybe that's something we'll come back to down the line. But we missed an opportunity last night to do it up on Twitter. But either way, Thursday night football, Jaguars, Titans. I talked about this game and how I needed Blake Bortles to give me a reason to watch. I needed him to play. I needed Gus Bradley to put him in the game, and he did. So that was refreshing. And so it was funny. Tracy Wolfson, the sideline reporter for the Thursday night football games and on CBS as well, she talked to Ken Wisenhunt, Titans head coach, before the game as they were about to do the kickoff, and he basically said, hey, I want the football first. I want to get off to a fast start, and let's stop right there. To me, the fast start, the let's get in the car and get off to a fast start, is overrated in the National Football League. Okay? I am a huge proponent and stickler for getting the football after the half. So if you win the toss, you need to defer. I talk about this all the time. It is a pet peeve of mine to hear a coach say, I need to get off to a fast start. My team needs to get off to a fast start. What does that mean? What does a fast start mean? What does that mean? Scoring a touchdown on the opening possession? Whoop did he do? You're up 7-0. Guess what the other team gets a chance to do? Get the football and score a touchdown and match your touchdown. Then what happens? You still getting off to a fast start? Would you go down there and score another touchdown? Okay, the other team gets a chance to score another touchdown. Look, what I'm saying is the best thing to do is get the football after the half. You know why? I know what the score is when the game starts. So it really doesn't do me much good to get the football first. What if you get the football first and go 3 and out? Hey, so much for your fast start. Look, you get the football at the beginning of the game, it's 0-0. If you get a touchdown, great. Good for you. Maybe you do get off to a fast start. Okay? But what happens if you don't? Now, if you get the ball after halftime, okay, it doesn't matter what the score is, what the situation is. There's always a use for getting the football after the half. There's always a situation, whether you're up, whether you're down, it doesn't matter. You can use the football, okay? Say you're down in the game, 16-9. You've been thoroughly dominated in the first half. That team had the football for literally 21 minutes of the first half. You only had it for 9. They dominated the first half. Yet, the final possession of the first half, you were able to score a touchdown, gain a little bit of momentum. Guess what? You get the football after the halftime break. You score another touchdown. Now it's 16-14. All of a sudden, the game you've been dominated thoroughly in is a 2-point game because you get the football after the half. What about you reverse that? What about you're dominating the game 16-7? Okay? That team had all the momentum in the world going into the halftime break. Even though you've dominated this game thoroughly, you're up 16-7. You go into the halftime break. You get the football first after the half. You stop their momentum and you go and score a touchdown, extend the lead out to 23-7. All of a sudden, it changes the face of the game. You can always use the football after the half. There's never a situation where you'll say to yourself, man, I could sure use a kickoff right here. I could sure give the other team the football, play some defense. You can always use the football after the half. You don't need the football when the game starts. This is a prime example of what getting the football after the half can do for you. Now, Ken Wisenhunt told Tracy Wolfson he wanted the football first because he wanted his team to get off to a fast start. What did they do? They got off to a fast start. The Titans marched right down the field, 11-play drive in which Charlie White Shoes came out there and was balling his brains out. 6 of 6 on the drive. He was sharp, takes the team right down the field, makes a nice throw. Smart throw, quick throw on 3rd down on a check down, and Leon Washington able to get into the end zone. 7-0 just like that. They get the football back. Jaguars are struggling early on. 3 consecutive 3-and-outs after the first possession. They got 1 first down, and the next 3 possessions were 3-and-out 3 straight times. So Jags did nothing on their first 4 possessions of the game. Meanwhile, Titans put up 10 points on their first 2 possessions, led the game 10-0. They were dominating. They were dominating this game. There's your fast start right there. There's your fast start. You're up 10-0. What do you do with it? Jags get the football and make a nice, and this was a game-changing drive here. Blake Bortles, I talked about him using his legs more. I didn't expect him to use his legs as much as he did in this game because of the bum wheel. He came into the game with a flat tire on one. He had a bum ankle, so he had a flat tire, but he was still showcasing the wheels. And on that drive, he had a huge run on 3rd and 6, got 7, which I didn't expect him to be able to do, but he picked it up, ends up throwing a beautiful fade route in the corner of the end zone to Mercedes Lewis, who comes down with the football. Beautiful throw, better catch. It's 7-10 now. It's a 10-7 ball game at the half. They were up 10-0, got off to their fast start. Jags score right before the half. You go into the halftime break 10-7. Jags come out of the halftime break. Guess who gets the football? Yep, you guessed it. Jacksonville Jaguars. What do? March it right down the field. Beautiful drive. Toby Gerhart able to start getting the ground game going. They move it right down the field, get into the end zone, do the Jacksonville Jaguars on a 1-yard Toby Gerhart plunge. All of a sudden, it's 14-10. Jags on top of the game. What happened to that fast start? Getting the football after the half, to me, is the most important thing you can do before the game starts. If you win the toss, there's no reason to accept that football right away. There's no reason to receive. Give me the football after the half. It'll always do you some good to get the football after the half. Then you have a huge run by their running back, Jordan Todman of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Huge run. It breaks off about a 62-yarder for a touchdown. That puts some separation between the Titans and the Jaguars at 21-10. It seemed like the game was over, and then Charlie White Shoes got on his horse and made some beautiful throws. 4 throws, just boom, bang, boom, bang. Next thing you know, they're inside the Jaguars' 10-yard line, but can't get in the end zone. On 3rd down, I thought he had an opportunity to squeeze it in there to Kendall Wright, right at the goal line to get a touchdown. He overthrows him. I think he was throwing to the receiver behind him, Durham. But either way, it was too high. It was deflected by Jonathan Cyprien to save a touchdown. Next thing you know, it's a field goal attempt to cut it to a one-score game at 21-13. Jags are able to, this was vital. They were able to run the football, pick up some first downs. I thought Blake Bortles using his legs all night was very, very well needed. And I talked about him using his legs more because that's the threat you want the defense to have to respect. And he looked really good. Despite having a bum ankle, he looked really good running the football. And I thought he made some good throws. There's some throws he could have had back and done better. But again, you see the maturation with this kid. I like him a lot. When they fine-tune some things in the offseason and he gets a year more comfortable with the playbook and what they're asking him to do, he's going to be just fine. And they're able to pick up a couple of first downs, eat up clock, force the Titans to burn their timeouts, and then they give the Titans back the football with about a minute left, a minute and two if I'm not mistaken to go. Titans get around midfield, aren't able to get in the end zone, and the Jacksonville Jaguars are able to hold on. And it was a nice finish to the game as their defensive tackle, Derek Marks. I guess this was I've never seen a situation where someone's money was discussed so much. A bonus or an accelerator was talked about so much. I mean, this was public knowledge that if he gets a half a sack, he has a $600,000 bonus that kicks in, an accelerator, for getting to 8 sacks on the season. He came into the game at 7.5, and wouldn't you know it, to end the game, he gets the game-winning sack as they were trying to launch a Hail Mary. He puts Charlie Whiteshoes down on the ground, and that allows the clock to run out to give the Jaguars the win. And of course, in victory cash money style, he puts the cash sign up and says, yeah, I'm about to get broke off. Good for Derek Marks. I love that guy. And for Jacksonville Jaguars fans, you saw this coming because if you've been watching the Jaguars all year, this goes back to the preseason. First game of the preseason against Tampa Bay, the dude was dominant. He's been dominant all season long, and good to see him getting some extra bread for playing well on this football team. Jaguars get it done, 21-13, go to 3-11 on the season. Big win for this Jaguars team. I like what they're doing. Again, I said before the season started, I didn't know if the amount of wins would show just how much better this team would be, but they're coming along. They've got a lot of young pieces. The offensive line did a really good job of picking up the blitz. Thought the Titans tried to bring the blitz a lot in that game, and those guys really did a good job of picking up the blitz and giving Bortles a chance to survey the field. There are a couple of times where Blake didn't have enough time to do what he needed to do, but again, they did a really good job of picking up the blitz. There's a lot to build on in Jacksonville. They get the win, do the Jaguars. For the Titans, they're so banged up right now. It's really hard to dissect this team. There's just not a lot there right now. With all the guys on injury reserve and what they have on the field, just not a lot to pick from. They don't get it done. They drop to 2-13 on the season, and Jaguars move to 3-12 on the season. That's going to do it for that Thursday night breakdown. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll jump into my Pick'em Weekly for week number 16. Off to a great start as I was able to get the win on Thursday night.
Social media has taken off in ways that I couldn't have imagined, and thus I've taken the liberty to start being more active on social media. So like me on Facebook at In the Lab Room, follow me on Twitter at In the Lab Room. You can also +1 me on Google Plus at Louie Tee, and also, of course, my main hub, subscribe to my channel on YouTube. That's youtube.com/In the Lab Room. These are all ways that I'm looking forward to interacting with you, the viewers, in the upcoming season of the Louie Tee Network.
All right, so we're back on the program quickly. I don't want to keep you here long at all today, so we're going to make this quick, fast, and painless. I want to give you my picks for week 16 here in the National Football League. A lot of big matchups that are going to have huge playoff implications in week 16. A couple of one-liners on these games. I don't want to sit here and give you a thorough breakdown because, again, I don't want to prolong this video any longer than it needs to be. So let's jump into the Saturday games. Philly at Washington. To me, the Redskins aren't a good football team, as evident by their 3-11 record. And so the Eagles are on a 2-game skid. I expect them to go into Washington, find a way to get it done. Might not be pretty, might not be the most overwhelming victory. Robert Griffin III getting a chance to start. He has a lot to prove to this organization, the fan base, so forth and so forth. Let's see if he can show up in this game. Either way, the Eagles are the better team. The Eagles have the playoffs on the line. They lose this game, Cowboys win. Eagles are eliminated from the NFC East division title and probably going to be eliminated from the postseason as well. So this is a huge game for the Eagles. I think the Eagles are going to win the game. Give me Philadelphia in that one. The nightcap of the Saturday doubleheader, San Diego at San Francisco. Both of these teams have struggled to score points of late. Chargers still have a realistic shot of getting in the postseason. They've got to win out, though. 49ers are mathematically eliminated from postseason contention in the NFC. They don't score any points. They don't have anything to play for. Jim Harbaugh is on his way out of the door. Give me San Diego to find a way to get it done. This could easily be a 13-10 game because neither one of these teams like to score points. But at the end of the day, Chargers have the most at stake. Every time their backs has been against the wall on the road this season, they found a way to get it done. Give me the Chargers to win that game. You go to Sunday games, Detroit at Chicago. Bears are starting Jimmy Clausen. Enough said. Give me the Detroit Lions to win on the road and stay ahead of the Packers and set up a huge Week 17 matchup between those two for the division. Minnesota at Miami. This is a very intriguing game. Despite not a lot being on the line with the Dolphins dropping 2 straight and getting to 7-7, and the Vikings at 6-8, this is a very evenly matched football game. The Vikings could easily go into Miami and come out with the W. They're playing their best football of the season. I still like Miami at home, however, to find a way to win this football game and still give themselves a chance, even though it's a long shot for them to get in. A lot would probably need to happen for them to get in. I don't see it happening, but still give me Miami in this football game at home. Atlanta at New Orleans, huge matchup. It doesn't get much bigger than this in terms of the best of the worst. I mean, you're talking about 5-9 Atlanta at 6-8 New Orleans, and this is for the division lead. And the Falcons already have beaten the Saints once this season. Saints are at home. That means absolutely nothing to me anymore, which to me before the season, that was one of the most far-fetched things that I could have said out of my mouth, that the Saints being at home wouldn't mean anything. But the way they've played 4 straight losses at home means nothing to me. In fact, I'm taking Atlanta in this game. I told you I've hitched my wagon to the Falcons. You tell me Julio Jones is playing in this game. I'm taking the Atlanta Falcons on the road to extend that loser streak for the Saints to 5 games. Wouldn't surprise me if the Saints won this game. They looked really good on Monday, but then again, 2 weeks ago against Pittsburgh on the road, they looked really good in that game and they came home and lost 41-10. I'm taking Atlanta to go and take this division by storm. Give me the Falcons on the road. You look at the next game, Patriots at the Jets. This is it for Rex, probably against Bill Belichick as the Jets head coach. He wants to go out with a bang. This team wants to get this win for him in the worst way, but it's the B&B winning factory, and it's winning time. It's down the stretch time. It's lock up the #1 seed time for the Patriots. They're not losing in New York. Give me the Patriots to take care of the Jets. By hook or by crook, they're going to win that football game. Give me New England. You look at the next game, humongous playoff implications here as the 9-5 Pittsburgh Steelers are at home hosting the 8-6 Kansas City Chiefs team. Kansas City Chiefs! They lose this game, Kansas City eliminated from postseason contention. So it's all on the line here. They win this game. If they win out, Chiefs are probably going to make the postseason. So here's a huge one right here. If you're the Steelers, you can't afford. To me, you haven't been as good at home as you should be. You lost to Tampa Bay at home. You also lost to New Orleans at home. You almost lost to Cleveland at home. I need you to step it up at the crib. And so this is a golden opportunity for you to start playing some of your best football this season. I like what you're doing. The last 2 games on the road were impressive. I need you to show me that you can take what you did on the road, apply it at home. I'm taking the Pittsburgh Steelers to win this football game, get to 10-5, and try to lock up a postseason berth. You move on to the next game, Green Bay at Tampa Bay. This was my sole survivor of the week. I'm not even breaking this down. Give me Green Bay on the road to win big. You look at the next game, Cleveland at Carolina. Second start for Johnny Manziel as Cleveland Browns starting quarterback. You look at Cam Newton. He's going to play, I believe. And so because of that, and even if he didn't, I still was taking Carolina in this game. But if Cam's playing, I feel even more confident about the pick. Give me Carolina. They're still on the outside looking in, but don't count the Carolina Panthers out in that NFC South divisional race. You look at Baltimore at Houston. The Houston Texans are starting somebody at quarterback. Is it Case Keenum? Is it I don't even remember what the other guy's name was. It slips my mind. Thad Lewis, that's who it is. It's either Thad Lewis or Case Keenum. Either way, it's a loss. Give me Baltimore on the road to win that football game. Giants at St. Louis. I like the Rams. I like the Rams a lot. I don't like what they did to me last Thursday, however, but this is a team that I think when they're playing a team like the Giants, they can get it done. Odell Beckham Jr., boy, ODB is a problem. That boy is the truth. However, this is a Rams team that can get after the quarterback. Eli Manning, when pressure, does a lot of nonsense. I take the St. Louis Rams in this one and see if they can't try to win their final two to get to 500 on the season for the first time in a long time. You look at the next game, Indy at Dallas. This is a monumental game in the grand scheme of things. If you're Indy, you're looking for postseason seeding. So you need to win this game to ensure that you're the third seed. And really you're looking to try to see if you can get into the top two. I already talked about that. I already chronicled that throughout the week. If you're Dallas, you win this game and you'll already know what Philly has done because your game is Sunday, they play on Saturday. If Philly loses and you win this game, you win the NFC East. If Philly wins and you win, then you set up a huge matchup in Week 17 with the Redskins where if you win the division. If Philly wins and you lose this game, you end up tied. And guess what? No matter what you do from that point on, if Philly wins in Week 17 versus the Giants, you can't win the NFC East, which could mean you could miss the postseason. So again, if you're Dallas, you really need to win this game. And you've struggled at home this season. I'm not sure about Indy. I'm really not, because Dallas, to me, can step up to the challenge and win this game. But DeMarco Murray has a broken hand. I don't know how that's going to affect him. I don't know how that's going to affect the game plan. Andrew Luck against that Cowboys defense. I'm going to go with Indy. I might regret that. I'm going to go with Indy, but if that defense of the Cowboys can find a way to do what Cleveland did a couple of weeks ago, what Houston did last week, slow down this offense, force some turnovers, Dallas has a great chance of winning this game. But I'm going to take Indy. Against my better judgment, I'm going with the Indianapolis Colts in that one. Buffalo at Oakland. Bills have a legitimate shot at making the postseason at 8-6 going into this game. A win over Oakland will put them at 9-6 and give them a long shot. Again, Week 17, they'll have to beat New England on the road to do so, but can't look forward to that game without taking care of this one. Party out in Oaktown. Give me Buffalo to go over there and stop a mud hole in the Raiders. You move on to the Sunday night football game, and what an extravaganza this one is. Seahawks on the road taking on the Arizona Cardinals. This one is for all the marbles in the NFC West. Winner takes all, essentially, because I don't see St. Louis going into Seattle next week and beating the Seahawks. I just don't. So, for all intents and purposes, winner takes all. I'm dubbing this one winner takes all, because if Arizona wins, they win the division. It's all wrapped up. And if Seattle wins, they sweep the season series over Arizona. Next week, they go home. They take care of Seattle or St. Louis. They win the division. So, for me, winner takes all. The winner of this game wins the NFC West. I wouldn't have it any other way. And to me, Arizona has played too well this season to have it come down to this and lose. But that's exactly what I have them doing. I don't trust Ryan Lindley, man. But my man Ghost told me that Bruce Arians is Moses. And he's leading people who have been lost in the desert for 30 years. And the last thing he said to me, Louie, we can't lose. We'll see, man. Hope you're right. But I don't trust it. I don't trust Ryan Lindley, man. I trust that defense. I trust that home field advantage. I don't trust Ryan Lindley. I gotta take the Seahawks. I regret doing that because I've been on the Arizona Cardinals bandwagon the entire season, and I would love to ride it all out, ride it all the way out, man. Because you deserve it. You've been the best team in that division all year long, but it comes down to Ryan Lindley against that Seahawks defense. I can't do it. Give me Seattle in that game. And finally, Monday Night Football. AFC West champion Denver Broncos taking on the AFC North leading Cincinnati Bengals in the jungle. This is a big one for Cincinnati because a loss here coupled with the Steelers win or a Ravens win, and that would see them take a step back in the division. Both of those teams, Ravens and Steelers, have a chance to get to 10 wins. So do these Bengals. But if they lose this game and both of those teams get wins, they go to 10, they stay at 9. That could be their ticket out of the postseason. Who's to say? That tie is going to end up being their saving grace, though. Probably going to get them into the postseason over a team that's on the outside looking in. But at the end of the day, if you're Cincinnati, why subject yourself to all of that extra outside noise and those external factors? Why subject yourself to being in the hunt or having to battle off other teams trying to get in the wild card? Why even deal with the wild card when you can win the division? Win this game, you'll make a statement. Hey, I'm not saying that you're going to win the division if you win this game, but damn it, you'll make a statement and you'll be that much closer to getting it done. If you're Denver, you need the number 1 seed. And the only way you're going to do that is by winning. You don't know what New England's going to do. You can't count on them to lose because they got 2 teams in their division and they run that division. But all you can do is take care of what you can take care of, and that means winning. And you don't want to, look, you can mess around and find yourself in the 3rd spot if you want to trip. If Indy's able to take care of business and you want to slip up these last 2 weeks, anything can happen. Just take care of business. I'm going with Denver on the road. I don't trust Cincinnati to do anything. You know how I feel about Andy Dalton. Give me Denver on the road to cap off Week 16 on Monday Night Football. That's going to do it for me here on my Pick'em Weekly and in the lab room in Week 16. I thank you for joining me here on this program. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the lab room. Come back and join me as I continue to break down Week number 16 in the National Football League. See you next week.
In the lab.